Hello everyone, Moro here. I am not an artist who likes painting on canvases. You'll rarely see me do. But I was gifted all of these canvases, so now I have to find some kind of creative way to make art with them. I could just paint with typical canvas mediums like acrylic, watercolor, oil, etc. Actually, there really never is a typical way to do art, Anyways, my plan for these canvases is to continue with my papier-mâché monster idea and apply it at a larger scale. I have many ideas that I can use across my many canvases, but for now, I've come up with two. Starting with this right one. My idea is an enormous sun-eating space monster. The monster itself will be made out of papier-mâché, and the sun will be made of a semi-transparent fabric with some orange fluffs coming out of it, shaped like flames. I will carve a hole in the back of the canvas to create a space for a battery-powered light. This is my big guy here. So I went ahead and sketched out where I want everything to be for my monster. I also created a base structure to build upon with my fabric and papier-mâché materials out of cardboard, and glued the cardboard pieces to the canvas with hot glue. I later reversed a lot of these steps because I came up with a newer and better version of my monster that required a new structure to build upon. A friend also brought up a great point. The light that I will be using could risk generating too much heat and catch fire to a cardboard stand. I doubt that would happen as I plan to buy low-heat fairy lights, but as a precaution, I ditched the cardboard light rest and constructed one made out of foil instead. The dome-like shape was the next thing to make a base for. The fabric will have a hard time retaining a dome shape without something holding it up. For this, I made a rough cage out of wires and sewed and weaved it in and out of the canvas to keep it in place. I know this will obstruct some of the light shining through the fabric later, but I thought it would be okay because stars naturally have darker shaded spots to them. The randomness of the wired cage I am creating will hopefully somewhat mimic this effect. Here's what I came up with for my new monster design I had mentioned earlier. Generally the same idea, but removing the wraparound look of the monster. Gotta redo the sketch on my canvas now. No biggie. My new monster design will have tentacles instead of spikes. So that's fun. More eldritch horror-y too. Time to glue on and pull a white piece of semi-transparent fabric over the wired cage I had made. What kind of fabric did I use? I have no idea. This piece was just from my scrap fabric collection. I shined a light through it to make sure the light was still visible and that this fabric would work. And it passed the test. So we are going to use it here. Coating the wire frame very roughly with some Elmer's glue all to help the fabric stick to it a bit, and then stretching the fabric and securing it to the back of the canvas with some hot glue. Next, to make the base for my light more durable, I cut a bit off of an aluminum can lid and secured it to the inside of the dome. Be careful. Whenever you work with cutting up an aluminum tin, the edges can be sharp, and you can easily cut yourself. So just be careful. Here I weaved some pieces of wire through the canvas to where I wanted the teeth to go. Then I wrapped each piece in aluminum foil. This time I wanted to save on paper mache materials. I only have so much glue and tissue paper supplied. I am also thinking adding too much paper mache to this canvas will make it heavy, so I need to limit my use of it where I can. I then added a bit of clay to the bottom of the light stand to fill and even out the surface. Time to make my ever famous paper mache goop. Tissue paper plus glue plus water plus a little bit of black paint. Mix until it's a bit slimy, or very slimy if you want maximum hardness. Since this is a canvas piece of art which will not be handled as much as my Minuscule's mini monster keychains, I don't need to make it quite as hard and durable this time around. With my magic goop, I begin filling in the shapes I laid out for myself with my sketch. I also wrapped various pieces around the aluminum foil base I had constructed. time for the paint. I go over everything with some very basic flat base colors. Yellow for the sun, of course. I watered this yellow down significantly, because if I coat it too thickly with acrylic paint, the light that I plan to put in its center later will definitely not shine through. My first thought was to give this monster a reddy purple flesh-like color, but I later changed this idea down the road. You'll see which color combo I choose soon. And of course, a dark blue base to represent outer space. As you can see here, I've determined to paint over this monster with orange. I decided to give him a lava-like look, but that won't be it. I will be giving him a few more details to truly make him feel unique. While I have this nice orange color mixed, I can use some to splosh on a few irregular spots onto the sun to represent the ball of fire that it is. Plus, a few white spots to further add contrast and shine to our precious sun, which will soon be eaten by this massive thing. And finally, that unique detail I was hinting at earlier. Using air dry clay, I create a classic crackled rock and lava look. But this time with white rocks. Why yes, I am going to leave them white and not paint them the typical gray and black you'd expect with the kind of lava aesthetic. I was thinking of painting it that way, But then I asked around, and everyone liked the unpainted look it currently had. So I thought, why not? I like it that way too. The reasoning I then added to back up the look is that it resembles the white moon. And when the moon eclipses the sun, it sort of, in a way, eats away at its shape, nearly completely covering it up, essentially devouring it. I really love the idea. I would later reinforce this theme again with the eyes you will see. Can't forget them pearly whites. Gotta look good and establish yourself as the apex predator of the solar system, devourer of many, capable of the mass destruction of life without even laying a tentacle on a planet containing such. Just devour the center of their solar system and one of their greatest sources of survival. Is all. Love speckling on these tiny white dots to make space feel a little bit more full. Going in now to add some purple space dust effects. It'll go good with the loads of yellow prominent across the rest of this piece. Made some combed out yarn fluff to resemble the flames extruding from the sun. Repeating the eclipse theme, I did a simple watercolor illustration of an eclipse. I then edited it in Photoshop into a circular shape and repeated it across a letter-sized page. I then visited a local print shop and had it printed on glossy paper. Here I am cutting the eyes out into a bit smaller circular pieces, making sure one side of the eclipse ring is closer to the edge than the opposite side. This way I can create the illusion of the monster looking at a target object. I did this small part off screen. I wanted to cover each of my monster's eyes with a clear dome to really make them look like realistic eyeballs. How did I do it? I took a piece of clear plastic and melted it carefully over a ball-shaped object using a lighter. I then fit in the cut-out eyepieces into these rounded, clear plastic shapes, gluing their edges with hot glue. Time to cut them out. I repeat the same process again, this time with some of the smaller eye prints I did. In addition to my monster having many tentacles, I wish it to have many eyes. I then roughly glue them into place on the monster sculpt on the canvas. I'm going to add a bit of clay rock to add a rim to them in a minute. That way, they will hold more securely in place. I then went ahead and gave the whole art piece a coat of acrylic sealer and revisited the flames coming off of the sun. I had the idea to have bigger flames scattered, twirled, and pointed extruding from the sun, but I don't like how these were looking. Plus, the thinner pieces of fluff weren't that securely glued on and were coming off with even just slightly brushing the surface of the sun with my hand. I decided to undo a lot of my work with the flames thus far, and pulled out what I had done. With the pieces of lighter fluff that I pulled off, I re-glued it to the surface of the sun using some clear fabric glue that I have. After drying, the result was much better. After much work to pull off this bizarre idea, I've finally done it! I've made yet another monster. This one at a much bigger scale, both figuratively and literally. I started with some small palm-sized monster keychains back in last December, and I ended with a canvas-sized monster that literally represents something capable of making many stars across the galaxy look like itty-bitty snacks. First time I've also incorporated a light into my work before. Never dared to do something that complicated, even though this implementation isn't exactly that overly complex compared to what I've seen other artists do when incorporating lights into their works. This light certainly makes my Sun Eater look particularly menacing, doesn't it? It's got a light shining below its face, sort of like how a person does with a flashlight underneath their chin while telling a scary story. Anyways, that's about it. I sure had a lot of fun with this one. Like the video, comment, and subscribe to the channel for future art and craft related videos. Lights out for now. We may need to keep an eye out for a permanent eclipse with this one. See you tomorrow, whenever that might be. Goodbye.